Welcome back to the High Five, guys. We have a big episode. First things first, we got an application for the fact-checking position. Um,
Was there a cover letter?
there was no cover letter. I can read you the entire thing. It's not long. Hey guys, longtime listener, first-time emailer. Love the show and was interested in your fact-checking position on the show. While I have no formal fact-checking training, some would say I'm a great liar, so I would be able to pick up on false statements quite well. My resume is blank, but hoping you could help me fill it up. Cheers.
Sounds like a decent candidate. I think we should at least interview them. Maybe give them some assignments to have them do some free fact checking.
Yo, one
so we
second.
can
I have to
assess
take
their
this
work.
call. Sorry. Hello?
What happened? Oh no.
Yes, this is.
Okay, I'm gonna stop my recording.
Or we gotta just start anew.
Or maybe just wait, I guess. I guess we can just wait if it just takes a few minutes, because I can always cut it out.
Yeah. I'd say anytime after 10
We should just leave this on the podcast.
Pretty good content, you think?
From the High Five family of podcasts, Brian answers calls.
Sure.
We cut away from this podcast to bring you our other podcast.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll be here.
How was Brazil?
Brazil was dope, man.
Thanks.
I love it down there.
I bet.
Sorry about that. I've
No problem.
a plumber coming today.
Oh,
We're-
I've got a little plumber action coming today too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see.
Wow. Two plumbers on the pod. All right, let's start again. I'll just try and do some kind of cue because I got to cut all that stuff out.
Yep.
Wait. So do I need to start a new recording? Stop and start.
Did you stop recording?
No.
Just keep it going then, because I'll just cut all of that stuff out. You didn't stop yours, did you, Brian?
No.
Should we clap
Okay.
again?
No,
No.
that's okay. Brian, what do you think
I'll
of
do
that
it.
application? No, damn it, Josh. Brian, what did you think of that application?
I think it's suspicious that they call themselves a good liar, and so that makes them a good candidate to fact check. I don't like that.
Yeah, how do you guys want to handle it? Do we ask them to fact check one episode?
Yeah. Yeah, we should
like that.
ask them to submit a fact check.
Okay. Any come to mind, or should I just pick a random one for them to fact check?
Probably one that Brian won because I've a lot of doubts anytime he wins about anything he says, the veracity of his claims.
They're all true.
I think Brian won.
He won last week,
Yeah, he won codes.
and I'm pretty sure he made up at least one of those codes.
I think he won
Two of his choices were basically the same thing twice, just from like different centuries. So,
Oh, the Jefferson circle and then the old Greek baton.
Yeah. Those are different.
Josh makes a good point.
Spoken like a real
Oh.
loser.
also, maybe we should have him do a background check on Rod Binary.
Tell me everything you can about Rod Binary.
All right, you want to ask him to fact check top 5 codes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Really
All right.
solidify my win.
listener, if you're listening, which you should be, you're a candidate for a prestigious position. Please send us in a fact check of the episode top 5 codes. All right, moving right along. I've got a quick fast 5 for you guys. Something that's been on my mind recently, something I've been discussing with some friends. Top 5 sandwiches. Number 5, we're going to Cuban. Number 4, roast beef with the au jus dip. Number 3, a panini, like prosciutto, mozzarella, like the caprese style panini on ciabatta. Number 2, fried chicken sandwich. And number 1, the classic club sandwich.
Well, I don't have another Fast Five to pick from, but if I had any other Fast Five of sandwiches, I would probably pick it because that was fairly. Josh started off strong. I agreed with the Cuban and the roast beef. Then it went downhill quickly.
I have the opposite opinion. I thought you started off horrendously and then you ended strong.
What sandwiches would you guys have on your top 5?
Cheeseburger.
Oh,
Is
feels like a
is
different
burger
category.
sandwich? Yeah,
Different
I don't know about
category.
that.
Now burgers sandwiches.
Questionable.
Burgers are obviously sandwiches. You guys, come on, don't gaslight
Is
me.
a hot dog a sandwich then?
We're not going down this road.
Okay.
What would you
But
put on there, Josh?
obviously roast pork sandwich,
A chicken cutlet sandwich, but fried chicken is pretty close.
a cheesesteak, a hoagie,
Cheesesteak,
maybe
yeah.
like an Italian hoagie. Hoagie way better than a panini.
Roast beef is trash, so you got to lose that one.
Oh,
It was saved a little bit by the dip, especially if you had a horseradish sauce on there. I could see it. Otherwise,
Club is pretty mediocre.
Yeah, club. Come on.
I think cheesesteak was probably the biggest miss. I do love a good cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, also
That's-
a Reuben. How about a Reuben or a corned beef sandwich? Something in that family.
I think those are overrated. I feel like anytime I get a Reuben, I eat it and then I fall asleep for like 3 hours.
Well, that's a sign of a good sandwich.
I don't know. I think Reubens are overrated.
Yeah, I don't know any.
Terrible.
Reuben Blades, maybe.
Okay.
I'm a Blades fan. How do you know Ruben Blades, Josh?
A lot of my earliest musical tastes were developed by borrowing CDs from the local library.
Oh, wow.
Back in the I don't think that was actually analog days, but let's call it the analog days.
Yeah.
The days of physical media.
Pre-iPod, post
Yeah.
record. That's cool.
All right. This week, the topic that we're covering is similar, I would say akin to pet peeves, but it's more specific. We're drilling down into some things that infiltrate all of our lives, and it's software that you wish didn't exist or software that you hate, software that you really don't want in your life, but it's always around. So with that, let's jump into the criteria. Brian, what were you thinking about when you were putting together your list for software that you hate?
Software that's used for evil. And by evil, I mean things that are like generally fine to use, but the way that the companies use it makes them evil. And so I feel like the things that are just like a necessary part of life, and you're like, I have to use this shitty app or software, and they make it as either complicated or as dark as they want it to be to get you to spend money. Dark UX patterns, stuff like that. Bad software.
Dark UX patterns.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
I'm interested to see how that plays out in your list because I'm not sure I fully get it. It sounds like your criteria is more related to the people than it is the software, the way that the people have decided to use the technology.
I guess so. I mean, there were two biggest criteria were, is the software actually shitty to use? Like, is the user experience bad? And is it more like intertwined with the business where the way that the software is built and like the usability of it is meant to get you to like certain outcomes, and like some of those outcomes are bad for the user. and like some of that is built around like dark UX patterns, and it'll make more sense once I start rattling off some of these bombs that I'm gonna throw at Josh.
I got you. So your number one would likely be the confluence of bad actors manipulating the software for nefarious purposes, and then at the same time, shitty development, just bad software put together.
Right, right. They're trying to
Gotcha.
extract money from me, and the software sucks.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anything
Josh,
with
how
a
about you?
subscription.
Anything with a subscription. Josh, how about you?
Yeah, mine are a lot aligned with my pet peeves from one of our previous episodes. And one of the things that really factored into my decisions here were the expectations from other people or society that I use these softwares.
Yeah,
That
that's a good one.
and then that they're particularly annoying to use on top of that expectation really bumped them up my list. I would say a lot of the ones on my list are fairly mainstream. I ruled out some really obscure softwares that I don't like just because I don't feel like I need to use them. I don't feel shamed by anybody. Or as you know, Brian put it on our pet peeve episode, having other people, talk down to me. What did you call it? I think the whataboutisms or
Oh yeah, yeah. Condescending software.
yeah, people talk to me condescending if I don't use these softwares. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what.
Okay, so expectations annoying to use, or expectations out of line, they're annoying to use, and then mainstream, like they're pretty pervasive.
Yeah.
Yeah, pervasive. Yeah,
Invasive.
Okay.
invasive and pervasive.
Oh, that's
All
a
of the
good one.
basives.
All the acives. Evasive, pervasive.
Josh was late to the call
Okay.
because he was resetting his password on perverts.com. I heard.
They now require 3 factors. Yeah. And I've only got 2. I'm fresh out of factors.
All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we jump into the list?
I'm ready. Ready to torch
All right, let's
Josh.
get-
Ready to
Let's
see
get to-
Brett flip and drop this coin.
All right, let's get to the coin toss. This coin toss is brought to you by Norton Antivirus. Now, for an unlimited time, get your details. Give your. All right, I'm going to start that over. Sorry. Don't worry, I'll cut it out.
They're pulling their funding.
Should we clap again?
This coin toss is brought to you by Norton Antivirus. Now, for an unlimited time, give your details to Norton Antivirus and never worry about your computer working again. If you're old and you want to have a broken computer so that you can conveniently not see that email that your kid sent you about your grandchild's school play, Norton Antivirus is for you. Looking for a way to spend an entire Saturday printing one document? With our full system scan software, you can rest assured that each and every one of your computer files will probably be scanned by our software. Norton Antivirus. It's time to fight fire with fire. All right. The winner last week, I believe, was Brian. So, Brian, the call is to you. Heads or tails?
Tails.
It is tails.
Woo!
And I nailed it, caught it, flipped it. Brian,
I'm
you want
fired
to go
up.
first?
I'm
You wanna
fired
go
up.
first?
I'm
You
going
wanna-
first. I'm going first.
All right, Brian. Your number 5 software that you hate.
All right, I'm going to start this off with a banger. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. I'm going personal on this one. I'm going Airbnb as one of the worst pieces of software.
Never heard of it.
I'm not saying anyone on this call is directly involved, but I'm not saying they're not. So the reason I hate Airbnb is because like the software itself is fine. It does what it's supposed to do, and they do spend a lot of time on like the user experience. What I don't like about it is that they have betrayed all of us Airbnb users by hiding all the like cleaning fees and shit, and just like the platform has devolved into like it's only $99 a night, and then there's a $300 cleaning fee, and I need you to take out the trash and like repaint the garage as part of your stay. And so I've actually decided, I've more recently been moving more to hotels than Airbnb, because I feel like the expectations of what I'm getting are don't align with what I actually get. And so that makes it shitty software, in my opinion.
I have to agree with that. Airbnb used to be really cool, I think,
Yeah.
and I was pumped when it came out. And now I also have been moving more towards hotels because it's much more clear with a hotel. Like I get the room for the night and I know the price. There's like a resort fee or like a city tax,
Yeah.
but it's usually fairly minimal compared to Airbnb, which slaps on these massive cleaning fees at the end. And I
Not
think
transparent.
they made it illegal in Australia to do that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we're gonna need our fact checker to check that.
I
But
believe without any inside knowledge that that is included in the total price displayed to users in some places. And I would also say that the cleaning fees are determined, from what I hear, by the hosts using Airbnb, by users of the platform, as opposed to the platform. And in this specific case, we were talking about the software. The software is not responsible for any cleaning fees.
the software allows it to be displayed that way, though. The software allows for the way that you can select the fees.
We got a professional propagandist in here rebutting claims.
Look, if you two want to stay at Trump Towers when you travel, that's fine. The Hilton family, great family, from what I hear.
Oh yeah, so that's my number 5. A little mix
What
of software and human evil.
if I could just do a little pro Airbnb thing? The Airbnb experiences that I've done have been pretty cool, but that's also a newer product for Airbnb, so it's only a matter of time before they ruin that one too.
Before they fuck that up.
But okay, number 5, Airbnb. Josh, your number 5.
My number 5 is email, just all email. I'm tired of it. Like, what is this? 1995. Why the fuck are people still expecting me to check, especially my personal email? I'm even getting to the point where I'm getting tired of checking work email when we have Slack now. Like, why do we need 2 things? And obviously, Slack is easier than email. Let's just be done with it. I feel like it's become a way for Google to charge me for cloud storage because I go over the limit. And so I feel like Brian can sympathize with that one. Yeah, just all of email. It was great once. I don't think it will ever be great again, and it's certainly not great now.
Yeah, email. I actually don't mind. But I'm curious, Josh, what is it about email that you don't like? You're like, how do you communicate with people outside of your organization or just in general? You never emailing?
I feel like at this point, if I want to be in communication with you, you either have my home address, you could send me a letter, you have my phone number, you could send me a text.
Letter.
Send me a letter, maybe a carrier pigeon. That would be nice. At work, you can find me on Slack, so you don't need to email me at work.
Cash me on Slack.
Yeah, and then I'm on social media, so you can find me on social media if you need to, if you absolutely need to.
You can catch Josh on Google Plus.
I have like 8 different email addresses because I signed up for like spam with one email address, and then I would forget that one, and I'd have to sign up for another one. And then some of the names were just childish because I created them a long time ago, and then I didn't feel comfortable like sending out a resume with a childish email, so I had to create a new one.
What were some of these emails? What were some?
These have proliferated. Oshkosh Bajosh. Oh, we have a live spectator. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, email can get annoying. I still kind of like it though. I think maybe just because I'm used to the way that it's set up. And I like it because it has the storage. Like it's just always there. Instant messaging, things like Slack, like at my company, we don't have like the a paid version of Slack, so the messages delete after 90 days.
Yeah.
So email is nice for just permanent storage.
But
But
what if
okay.
you run out of storage in email? Like, who is giving
Gotta
you
Yeah.
free
upgrade.
email
They
storage for life?
yeah, yeah. Gmail was, and then they started charging, I think earlier this year. And I for a second I was like, fuck this. I'm deleting my excess stuff. And then I started doing it and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna pay $2.
That's how they
They
get
just
you.
make yeah, they just make the cost so low. Um, okay. Brian, you're number 4.
All right. This one was born out of personal use, personal experience recently. And that's wedding software, wedding planning software. So I specifically use Zola, but the Knot is also guilty of some of this shit. They the way that you use the software, their like web application, is like a horrendous user experience. Like for example, you upload guest lists, but then they don't make it easy to turn those guest lists into like table assignments or to like send people reminders and stuff. There's just like a lot of clicking involved and it's hard to navigate. So this one is a case where like the actual software is just like not good. The business is fine. Yeah, like I'll pay you to help me manage my invite lists and that type of thing. But like it's so clunky. A lot of times you just have to end up like exporting Excel files in and out of these stupid platforms. And then they're trying to upcharge you on like your registry and your website and all this stuff. It's not easy to customize your site. So all in, I feel like there's definitely an opportunity to build a better one. But I was pretty disappointed with the experience. So
That's fair.
Zola and friends, get out of here.
I don't have much experience with the wedding software. Luckily, my wife handled most of that. But I just to go back to the email thing, I did my invites over email. I just got an email list and sent it out to people.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah, I feel like those
Uh,
wedding websites, they also they have like an extreme freemium style where you
yeah.
sign up and then there's all different kinds of upcharges for different features. What were you gonna say, Josh?
actually, my dogs were chiming in on that one. They also don't like wedding software, probably because all of the anti-wedding propaganda I've been feeding them over the years. But I do have to say, the people that have sent me emails about their weddings recently have also then had to text me to say, check your email. Like, why
Mm,
don't you just text me the information? I don't get it. But in the line of like wedding invitation software, another one I've used recently, not for weddings, but for like greeting card kind of stuff, Kudo board. They charge you like $7 or $8 per board. I'm just trying to like collect a bunch of like nice little messages to send somebody a get well note, and I got to pay like $8 for that. Like, come on, what a Ponzi scheme! Can't we just put together like a PowerPoint presentation with some notes and send it to them? But then I got to use email, so
yeah.
double-edged sword.
So you're you're paying for a software to send somebody a get well card?
Yeah, like a group get well card that multiple people can sign.
Because the people live in disparate places, so they can't all just physically sign the card.
That is correct.
Sounds like a scam to me.
Okay,
Definitely
Josh.
a software I strongly dislike. It didn't make my hateable software list, but I do strongly dislike it.
Kudo board is the software.
Kudo board, yeah.
All right, thumbs down to Kudo board. All right, Josh, you're number 4.
My number 4, again, this came up during our pet peeves or gear grinding episode. I'm going to go with YouTube and also throw in YouTube TV along for getting me hooked and then jacking up the price. YouTube TV, when it first launched, was an excellent option for watching live sports. I could sign up with a zip code of in Philadelphia and then watch my Philadelphia teams in other locales. It was great. I was paying like $10 a month. And then all of a sudden it went up to like 50 or 40 or $50 overnight. So fuck YouTube TV, but really fuck YouTube, because people, again, just send me YouTube videos and expect me to watch them. And they're sometimes like 5 minutes long to deliver a message that could have just been delivered in maybe a paragraph of text.
Over email?
Definitely not. Over text. A text over text.
Yeah, I have the same complaints about YouTube TV. I used to have it and it was great, and then they started jacking up the price to the point where it was just the same as having cable.
What was the initial offer? Like 99 cents for 3 months or some shit?
I think it was like $10 a month, a year.
That's how
like-
they get you. That's the dark UX. They're like, oh, like try it. It's like it's basically free, and then you're fucking hooked.
Yeah,
They get you on the sauce.
I turned it off. I unsubscribed to YouTube TV.
YouTube is dope though. YouTube is the greatest website on planet Earth.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
Bold claim.
It's the truth. No fact checks necessary.
Okay, aspiring fact checker, do not check that fact.
Cancel fact check. Abort.
Okay. So Josh, are you going with YouTube overall or YouTube TV specifically? It felt like a YouTube TV complaint more than anything.
It is mostly YouTube TV, but YouTube ultimately is responsible for that decision in YouTube TV. So I'll just lump it all together.
So you're kind of going back to back on anti-Google things, because you mentioned the Gmail complaint for email, and then YouTube also a Google thing. So pretty anti-Google over
Interesting.
here. Yeah.
I mean, as far as email goes, I would say Gmail is the best. So it's not really strictly take on Google.
You're not on Yahoo
also,
Mail?
I do have a Yahoo Mail account for fantasy football purposes.
They do have good fantasy football.
And Outlook is particularly atrocious. Like I could name other email softwares that I hate way more than Gmail. So it's not necessarily, the email is not really necessarily targeting Google. And I do like Google search engine, which I still use, even though a lot of people complain about it nowadays.
I thought you'd be a Bing guy.
Haven't made the move to Bing. I flirted with DuckDuckGo.
That's just Bing.
But then, yeah, it's powered by Bing, right?
Yeah.
I've used Yandex when I want to get my fix of like Russian state propaganda.
Big Yandex guy.
Big Yandex.
The hell is Yandex?
Dude, don't worry about it. Don't. It's big,
all right.
Big Russian Russian search engine.
It's not for search neophytes like yourself.
Yeah,
It's Russian Baidu.
yeah, it's like Russian Google.
Got it.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn more, maybe you should just Google Yandex.
Yeah. Just Bing Yandex.
Bing it.
Okay. Brian, you're up for number 3.
All right, here we go. I'm bringing the heat. Here's a fastball coming right down the middle. Google Maps. Jumping on this Google train.
Ooh.
Fuck you, Gary. Or not Gary. Larry and Sergey. Gary, you're cool. Google Maps is definitely a product of just like how horrendous Google products have become in general. And it's a good example of what happens when your advertising business is so big that it subsidizes other businesses that on their own could be like their own good thing, but there's no demand to like innovate in Google Maps and like Apple Maps for that matter, because it's not a standalone business. And so, I mean, like I feel like Gmail is the same way, right? It's because they don't make that much money from it. They don't invest that much in making it better. But Google Maps specifically, my problem is that it's like whatever you need to see the fucking street name, it like zooms in and then doesn't show you the street name. So I often have to play this like zoom in and out to be like, what fucking street am I on? So it's I think the integration with like Lyft, I think it's Lyft or Uber, whichever one is bad. And in general, there's just like, it has so much more potential, Google Maps, but because it's inside of Google, it sucks.
Damn. I use Google Maps a lot. I never really had that zoom issue.
It's never happened to you?
I mean, I'm sure it's happened to me, but I never clocked it as an annoyance. Maybe it's a New York thing because
No,
there's so many little
it's
streets.
happened to me. No, it's happened to me outside of New York. It's also annoying when you're like following the walking directions. It's basically like inverted. So if
Yeah.
you're walking like straight ahead, it looks like you're walking backwards unless you like try to turn the map, but then it doesn't stay turned, and it's also kind of hard to turn. And you look like, you're trying to like squeeze a nipple on your phone when you're trying to like turn the phone around. So very annoying. What I've long wondered about Google Maps is why didn't they acquire Waze,
They
which is
did.
like a great app? Like, why didn't they integrate those together? Why is Waze still its own like standalone thing?
I think because it's more popular in like other countries' ways. Um, the funny thing about Waze, though, I know from a trip from New York to Florida, you can change the Waze like a voiceover, and so instead of just a regular person giving you directions, you can pick like Batman or like a boy band. They don't call it. I think they don't call it the Backstreet Boys. I think for to avoid like legal issues, but you can have people like sing you your directions. Like, yeah, there's just like fun stuff like that that you can do with Waze, and but yeah, both of them are owned by Google. I mean, they literally have a map monopoly aside from Apple Maps, but who the fuck is using that?
Yeah, nobody's using Apple Maps.
So there could be like a better ad supported maps experience. There could be a subscription map experience, all of it. But yeah, I'm a big hater of Google Maps. I use it all the time. Hate it.
Okay. I actually kind of like Google Maps until now, but maybe I'll jump on the hate Google Maps bandwagon.
Yeah, dude, get in there.
Josh, you're number three.
My number three is Windows. I long ago made the switch to using a Mac, even before I had any other Apple products. For a long time, I was using a Mac and had a Samsung phone. But Windows, at one point, they made a switch. It used to be like easy when I would use it to like find stuff, and then they made a switch. It became really hard to like find menus and like find the folder structure and find anything on Windows. And I, at one point, had to use it for work, a job that I deeply regret taking just because they made me use Windows. And in grad school, I had to use Windows a bunch. It was just annoying. It's an inferior OS, and it's rife with viruses and other stuff getting lost and fucked up. So I'm gonna go with Windows for my number three.
If you subscribe to our sponsor, Norton Antivirus, you wouldn't have any issues with viruses.
Norton Antivirus actually on my honorable mention because I haven't had to interact with it for years. I don't even know if it still exists, but when I used Windows, it would always be giving me like pop-ups and trying to like goad me into accepting terms and whatnot. Who knows what else it was trying to get me to accept without reading.
I actually find Windows just as easy as Mac. I currently use a Mac, but Windows I never had any issues with really. I consider myself a ambidextrous computer user.
Hmm. What
Okay.
about Linux? What about Linux?
Linux, I have no clue what that is. I see it show up sometimes and I'm just like, nah, I'm just gonna wait until this word leaves.
DOS? Are you big into DOS?
Big DOS guy.
Don't know what DOS is. Okay.
Big Windows Vista guy.
I like
Windows
XP.
95. Yeah, I think XP was the one that lost me. Back in the 95 days. Yeah,
I was big on 95, yeah. I like 95 and XP. But yeah, Windows Vista. Once I started messing with the start button,
Yeah.
but I have a lot of good memories playing Free Cell and Solitaire on Windows 95. Great game package that shipped with the Windows.
Likewise, Hearts, I think, was on there too.
Oh, you know what's a good one,
Oh,
actually? It's
Spades, solitaire.
not necessarily a Windows, but in general, like a Microsoft Paint, dope software.
Paint was good software.
Minesweeper.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, your number 2 software
All
that you
right.
hate.
Here's another heater coming down the middle. This one, let me check my notes. Let me check my team. What are they saying? All right. We're going with Slack.
Oh,
Slack is a piece of software that I use daily, hourly, and I hate it. It's a terrible piece of software. Mostly because it's very disruptive. It's very disruptive to your workflow. And over the years of working at places where it's just like people are slacking you and you're getting notifications all the time, and it's just like I've seen people develop really bad Slack etiquette, where people just like message you hi and then they don't tell you what they want from you. And then so you're just like, then you have to be like, hey, and then it's like, what's up? So I think it sets bad habits. If you Slack somebody like late at night, there's this whole thing around like, do I do need a response now? Is it urgent? And like the actual app experience, like it's very easy for it to get like bloated with channels. Inviting people sometimes is like not that intuitive. So in general, I feel like it's a really disruptive way. It's like if they made email worse, is what Slack is, I think. For all you Teams users, Teams sucks too. So don't think Slack's the one that I use the most.
so instant messaging.
Yeah, like instant messaging, like Discord, I would put in the same category. Discord is like very overwhelming. But yeah, there's like, I think the corporate instant messaging world, I feel like it's bad for everybody's health. Bad software.
I'll throw a little software annoyance that just came to my mind from your description. Whoever invented the little red numbers to hit our dopamine and then make us constantly check for notifications. Fuck that guy or girl. Whoever invented that.
Fuck
that
you,
I think
Steve
is
Jobs.
That's a nefarious use of software because it plays on your brain's weakness of needing that, like, oh, I got something, let me check, and then all of a sudden you're distracted and you're in these notifications rather than focusing on what you wanted to be focusing on, because we have these dumb, simple brains.
That's what dark UX is.
Yeah. So I could probably broaden Slack to a dark UX of like notification culture.
Yeah.
The notification software I find very annoying.
That's a good lead in to my number 1.
Okay, well, hold off. Easy there, Tiger.
I can't contain myself.
Josh, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the Apple Podcast app, which would be so convenient if it worked well, but it just sucks. And so I often have to go to other softwares, other podcast apps that I have to then download onto my phone. Whereas the Apple Podcast app just comes on my phone. Could be really, really convenient because it should integrate easily with things like a HomePod. If I wanted to just tell a HomePod to play it while I'm cooking or showering or something. You look very confused there, Brett, but
what is it about the Apple Podcast app that you don't like?
Josh's the big Deezer guy.
It just takes way too long to refresh when I open it. I often have to like drag down and then watch that little wheel go around for sometimes like a minute before it brings up new podcasts. And it leaves podcasts that I listened to for like 15 seconds and then obviously didn't want to continue listening to in my like continue listening. The suggestions I feel like are mediocre. There's a lot of things I feel like
leaves a lot to be desired.
With it. Yeah.
I still use Apple Podcasts. I don't have a strong opinion about it, but I will say one thing that I find incredibly annoying is it doesn't play in the order that the episodes get released.
Right.
Oh,
It makes no sense. So if you're starting like in the middle of uh, a podcast like release, then it'll play backwards instead of going in chronological order. It's extremely stupid.
can I tell you a quick urban legend about software engineering related to this? There are
Yeah.
these stories like on Reddit and Twitter of engineers who have a complaint like that. They're like the episodes play out of order on the Apple Podcast app, or another one I've heard is the Apple Card, like to dismiss the Apple Pay notification. It's like I don't know. There's like some silly step that you have to take, maybe like an X or something. But there are these myths because I don't know if they're true online of
Fact checker.
engineers, yeah, getting jobs. Like I got a job at Apple, and then like my task was to like fix this notification on the Apple Card, and then I quit. It's like people are like, I'm gonna get a like I hate this so much, I'm gonna get a job at Apple, fix this problem, and then quit right after. Those are like the so it's like I went to Apple Spotify, like the podcast team, and I got it to like play in order, and then I quit right after. Internet
Those are heroes.
urban legend, yeah, the unsung heroes of the internet.
Yeah. All right. Let me recap these lists real quick before we jump into the number ones. So for Brian, we've got number 5, Airbnb, then wedding software, then Google Maps, and at number 2, Slack or instant messaging software. For Josh, at number 5, email, YouTube TV, Windows, and number 2, Apple Podcasts. So we're over to you, Brian, for your number 1 software that you hate.
This one I hate because it's a necessary evil, but it also brings out the worst in people and the weirdest in people. Maybe not necessarily the worst, but the like it to honor a very popular Reddit subreddit, the LinkedIn lunatics. LinkedIn is my probably one of my least favorite platforms, because it combines all the bad aspects of just like what modern internet applications encourage us to do. So it's like the dopamine thing that you mentioned. So it's like notifications. It's like I can't update my fucking address on LinkedIn without it being like, do you want to announce it to your network? And it's like, no, like I don't. Every update doesn't need to be like an announcement. And then the type of announcements that now like it's just like this weird, like I'm thrilled to announce that with the help of like, all these people, I'm now certified to like drive a car. And it's just like this weird like shout out, thrilled, happy to announce type of things that people post on there. Or now it's getting like more personal, where it's like people are posting like pictures of their wedding, or like their kids are dying, or I don't know, just like shit I don't want to see on LinkedIn. Like this is a career networking site. I don't want to hear about your house burning down and you starting a GoFundMe, So I think the type of behavior that it incentivizes is like just straight up lunatics. Hence the name LinkedIn lunatics. Like one good one, I think this was a troll, but the guy who was like posted a picture of him proposing to his girlfriend on the beach, and then it was like, I proposed to my girlfriend on the beach this week. Here are the 7 things that it taught me about B2B enterprise sales. So yeah, just like the weird clickbaity stuff. Or the other one was like, I was on my way to an interview this morning, and then I stepped over a homeless man, and then I like went and got coffee, and I was running late to the interview, and then when I got down in the interview and sat down, the guy who was interviewing me was the homeless guy. Never give up. Weird shit. Weird shit. I don't know what the fuck people are thinking on there, but you got to do it. You got to post on there. So necessary.
Yeah,
evil.
LinkedIn sucks.
Faustian bargain.
I disagree. I kind of like LinkedIn.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it provides so many good trolling opportunities.
That's
Like
true.
if you know somebody well, you can post something like a recommendation or
Kudos
something,
to
and
you.
they know it's you fucking with them, and you know it's them you fucking with them. But like to the wider LinkedIn population, they're probably like, oh, that person's really good at like Microsoft Word. That's awesome. Um, yeah, and then it's a great way to like keep in touch with, um, you know, updates you don't care about from
Psychos from
people
your
you don't really
past.
care about, but who you met once in a professional setting, or maybe you didn't even meet them. Um, and it's just fun to sometimes read through some of the ridiculous things. I do agree that people use it for evil, but and for maniacal behavior, but it provides me with hours of entertainment, I would say.
That's a good point. It's it is a very it's a very highly trollable piece of software. So it does provide a lot of value there, but its original intention I don't like at all. But it is very fun to troll people on LinkedIn. That's true.
I used to randomly endorse people for skills back when they used to publish your skills on your like your endorsements without I think verifying them. So I would just like pick random people from my network and like endorse them for fundraising or like public speaking, Microsoft Word.
Yeah, in business school, we did that quite a bit, just endorsing people for dumb skills. Um,
They're very good at organization.
LinkedIn has this weird thing where they're like very professional, but then they throw in these like odd, like entertainment type of things, like the GIFs or the
Mm,
GIFs or whatever that you can send in the messages.
yeah.
It doesn't really align with the tone of the software, but I
They're
do send a lot of GIFs to my friends on LinkedIn.
they're just trying to get people to post more, you know? And so that's where the actual and this is like more a symptom of social media networks in general is that like 1-2% of the users are the ones who create all the content, so it's only like the most psychotic people, and so like that's what gets pushed around, and then like your engagement with it is what keeps the content like cycling through the platform. So they just like
Yeah.
they promote the people who promote the weird shit.
Yeah,
Note to
that's
self, I'm gonna troll Josh on LinkedIn after this.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Congrats, Josh. 5 years already. All right, Josh, your number one software that you hate.
My number one software that I hate is malicious software, aka malware. Think worms, viruses, a Trojan horse here or there, some spyware.
It's a lot
It's
of
all this
words to
shit.
just say TikTok.
I mean, it could be TikTok. Well, to TikTok, I have in my honorable mention, but these are things that you can encounter, when you're just trying to innocently download, a porn video, and suddenly your device is rendered unusable, and not only your device, but the device of all your, contacts. So, yeah, just really, really annoying. It's made the internet a less fun place to be. It's made electronics harder to use. I get it. I respect the hustle of those out there creating this stuff, trying to make an honest buck by scamming people. But at the end of the day, fuck all this malware.
That does tie nicely back to your number five, email, because a lot of that is
Mm.
sent through email.
Phishing.
Indeed.
Go fish.
Windows, it fucks up Windows. Maybe Windows would be a perfectly fine OS if all this crap didn't exist, but I'll never know.
Yeah. Malware's pretty broad, but okay. I guess
I love broads, so there you go.
Mayor of Broad City.
All right. How about those honorable mentions, guys? What didn't make the lists?
I've got two good ones. So one was it's related to LinkedIn. I got three good ones related to LinkedIn, but like social media networks in general, because of the reason that I mentioned, they're just like bad for your brain, bad for human interaction. And I think if you really go into like Instagram and TikTok and shit, you are very susceptible to like propaganda on them. And it messes with your brain for sure. Um, banking software, another good example of dark UX, where like a good example of dark UX is where you open up your credit card bill and the button that's already highlighted is to make the minimum payment. So like they just get you hooked on making minimum payments, and if you're not looking, you're just like, oh yeah, pay, and then you just. But in general, they're just like old, clunky. They yeah, it's very, very behind in terms of what you can do. I have issues with my bank all the time with like transferring money and Zelle and stuff. So banking software. Um, and where's this one, I think because it reminds me of the times, and even though we're using it right now, Zoom is one of my least favorite pieces of software, just because the Zoom fatigue, the pandemic, and then the weird video on, video off dance that sometimes you do with strangers. Like sometimes people just show up and they're just video off, and they're just like, why don't we do a phone call? But yeah, those my honorable mentions.
Nice. Yeah, social media, the worst. Josh, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I already named a couple, Norton and what was the other one I said? TikTok. But a couple other ones I have. The apps of teams I hate. So I'm sure like the Cowboys and the Celtics have their own team apps. Fuck those apps. Hateable software for sure. The ESPN fantasy football app, as mentioned earlier, I'm a Yahoo fantasy football guy. I also like the Sleeper app for fantasy football. There's now a lot of good like sports betting apps out there too that I like. But the fantasy football app from ESPN, for whatever reason, is just not easy to use, in my opinion. Ticketmaster, the software
Yeah.
itself is actually okay, but fuck Ticketmaster for making every event more expensive. Robin
Is that
Hood,
it? Is that a hidden fees complaint?
Yeah.
it is a hidden fees complaint, I would say. But what
Well,
services is Ticketmaster really providing to add 20% onto the cost of this ticket?
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
it's not always hidden. It's just the fact that it exists. At least if I'm paying a cleaning fee, I'm getting a cleaning. But with Ticketmaster, I'm paying for the ticket and then paying some fee for the ticket. I don't get it.
Another ticket fee.
Yeah, yet another ticket fee. Robin Hood, just because they started off with the promise of democratizing financial transactions and investing, and then if you've never seen that movie about the Wall Street bets thing, where Robin Hood ends up turning and being more like the Sheriff of Nottingham than Robin Hood, and supporting the man. I suggest you check that movie out. It was pretty good.
Dumb money.
Yeah, Dumb Money. Yeah. And then any software that Brian has developed.
I'm gonna send you an app today.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. I have two other honorable mentions that I thought of while Josh was talking. The food delivery apps
Oh
are
yeah.
fucking garbage. Because you try to order a sandwich and then it's like $50 because it's like an $8 delivery fee, a tip, a platform fee. They've just made the food delivery experience real trash.
Also the status, the fluctuations in the status, it makes no sense. Like I'll put in the order and then it's like, all right, it's gonna arrive by 6 p.m. and I'm like, great. And then I check the app like 15 minutes later. It's like latest arrival 6:45. I'm like, how did it just change 45 minutes?
You
Sorry, go
spoiled
on.
millennials. You don't remember the days of having to call a pizza place and then, having to call them back 30 minutes later and be like, so is my order on the way? Is it not? You probably
I
had
actually I actually called a pizza place the other week and got a just old school traditional delivery and it worked perfectly. So I think that actually it was better than the app, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because then I just paid cash and I did like a normal tip rather than all these different platform fees. But you had one more, Brian?
Yeah, and actually, you reminded me of one other one. So this is like a fucked up, just like Google thing, and I guess maybe it's a way of like it's software we don't see, but like sometimes Google will list, allegedly, for the lawyers out there, allegedly will list buildings with their own like Google number so that they take cuts of even like when you phone in an order. Because like I for like a while back I looked into like how can I avoid using like any app to order food and just order directly from the restaurant. But I learned that some restaurants, like even their phone number is managed by Google. So like they'll take a cut of that sale, which I thought was interesting. Tough business restaurants. But so the Uber Eats app or the food delivery apps. And then the other one, I feel like this is a growing problem. We don't know yet, but like the gambling apps, I don't use them, but I know people who do. And I worked at companies that ran a lot of their advertisements. And it's like, bet $50, get $500 credit on the platform. And there's no way that shit is not going to turn into like a massive addiction for people who just like grow up gambling on apps. That one seems like a sinister use of apps.
Yeah, restaurants, tough business. Gambling, probably pretty good business to be in right now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start a gambling component for the high five.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out who to give the winner's rant to here. It's a pretty tight race, I would say. Really struggling because Brian had more specifics and then Josh went more general. So kind of like it's hard to compare the two lists, but I think because I agree more with Josh's list, I'm giving the winner's rant to Josh this week because I find the same level of annoyance with most of his picks. So Josh, the winner's rant is yours.
Wow, what an upset for me to beat Brian at a software themed top 5 list. I would say huge upset. If you had me, you probably got good odds. If you had me on one of these betting apps, you probably got good apps. But let me dive right into my rant. I think that the USA should join the European Union so that I can get through passport control quicker. I've traveled recently overseas, and in a couple of occasions, I got stuck in the non-EU passport holder line, and it took way too long. Same with, we should also probably join Brazil, because when I went to Brazil, I had to stay in a line that took a long time. Maybe there's another way around this, reciprocity or something like that. But I think we should just join these other entities and just form like a super team.
Okay. All right. That's very good. How would you guys feel about counterbalancing this one with a software that you love?
Yeah. As long as Josh can't pick Airbnb.
I mean, just I can tell you my list right now is going to be like 4 or 5 porn sites. You know, line them up.
No, I said love, not lust, Josh. Come on.
Yes. Oh, right. Correct.
All right, that wraps it up. Our applicant for fact checking, please fact check the top 5 codes episode and get back to us. We need a little bit more than what your email provided, which was essentially nothing, just interest in the position. But I'm very excited to have a fact checking application in hand. And thank you guys for putting together the list, and we'll see you all next time.